Hell fucking yeah. Granada, look at these blue skies. Guess what that means? That means Mr. Base Science is feeling like an absolute rock star over here. And I mean, like, I'm feeling real fucking good, but I'm also telling you, like, this is the most I have ever felt like being a famous person. People treat me like a rock star over here. With my blonde hair, with my good looks, with my amazing tan, amazing body. Guys and gals, I get the looks over here. Like, people just stare at you here. They come to talk to you, like they're happy to come to talk to you, happy to know you. And some of these people don't even speak, most of them, they don't speak any English. They just come to talk to you in Spanish, and then I just look them with dead eyes like, yeah, I don't understand anything you're talking about. But I've been couple days in Granada and I already have some amazing stories to tell about this city. Oh man, where do we begin? Anyway, you know, when you get the looks can be, there's multiple different looks that people can give you. I've had maybe one meaning, demeaning look, or little scary look, like don't come mess with me look. You know, those looks that the gangsters, the gang members can give you over here. I maybe had one of those looks here, but all the other looks have been super friendly, welcoming, just curious, like what is this being walking among us? This Nordic god, this Nordic Viking. That's how I feel over here. And then there's the adoring looks and the lustful looks, and I have never had so many of those looks before. Obviously in Finland and other places people are way more reserved, and people are just like me. So nobody's surprised. Nobody's caught off guard by your looks, your presence, all of that nonsense. It's not nonsense, but you get what I mean. But here, I have had so many. Just people stare at me like, especially the women, but also the men. We're gonna get to that. I met my gay lover over here, and I had to break his heart. That was the craziest thing that has happened to me in this trip thus far. But anyway, yesterday I was cooking at my Airbnb, and the owner, some friends just came by. It was this girl, or this woman with 2 children, and one of the children, she was like girl at maybe age of 8. She could have kept her eyes off me, and it's so weird because you can look them back straight into the eyes, and they just keep looking at you. But then her mom, she was like really looking at me, and then I started to cook, and she was like amazed that I could cook. Like, she, the mother and the daughter, they both came to just fucking look when I cooked for like a long time, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why are you guys looking at me? And they just looked what I cooked. Then they spoke in Spanish what I was cooking. Then they just looked at me like with this adoring look, like, and I just looked them back like, yeah boy, it is cool. And when they left, they was like ah. Like, I have had so many other encounters like that. When I was in the market, some old ladies came to touch me. They just look at me and they touch me like softly and were like, hola. Then the younger girls just stare at me like, they just stare you straight into the eyes. Like, usually when there's like a little bit of connection, they look at you, and then you notice them looking at you, and you look them straight into the eyes, and they go like this. They turn away immediately, but not here. They just stare at you. But this comes to the best part. Okay, I have a couple ones from the beach yesterday. Couple of these young Nicaraguan boys also. Like, I was smoking my cigar at the beach, then they was just staring at me, and I was like, hola, because I'm always also like, sorry, if somebody looks at me, I look them back straight in the eyes and I don't break the eye contact. I'm very comfortable with that. I love that actually. But here it can be a little dangerous sometimes. We're gonna get to that gay bar. But these little kids, they were looking at me, smoking my cigar. Then I looked at them. Then they kept at looking at me and I was like, what's up guys? And they were like, what's up? And then they started to come, like slowly walk at me. And they just, I was sitting there, smoking my cigar, listening to my music. Then they just came and they started to speak a little bit Spanish. They were like maybe, one of them was maybe like 9, 10, and the other one was maybe like 14, 15. And they just came to hang around with me. They spoke some Spanish, little bit of English. Then we did little, do you like Granada or no? Do you like Ometepe or no? Guess what they gave Ometepe? They were like this. Then I was like, I'm gone. You are not my friends. But they were like, just, they wanted to hang around. They just wanted to be with me, I guess. Like they weren't asking anything. They were just friendly, smiling at me, looking at me. And it was getting kinda uncomfortable because I was there like 5 minutes with them and I was like, okay guys, it was nice seeing at you. And they were like, this is awesome. Then I just had to leave because I was not sure what the fuck was going on. Are they gonna rob me or whatever? But then came this one young guy, maybe in his early 20s or mid 20s, riding his BMX, and he was just staring at me and I was staring at him back, kinda like what the fuck is going on. He was staring at me, I was staring at him, and then I did this, and then he was like, oh, it's on like Donkey Kong. And he was like, he had this like little smirk on his face and he came super slowly with the BMX, like super slowly, and I kept staring at him like, what the fuck is happening now? Is this guy gonna rob me? Because I'm gonna beat him easily. He was way smaller, way more feminine than me, and he was just like strolling in front of me. Then he parked his BMX right in front of me and he just stared at me like maybe like 30-40 seconds. He just stared at me and I stared at him and I was like, what's up? Like what the fuck is going on? What are you staring at? And why are you so close to me? Then he just said, top or bottom? Like that. Very quietly. Top or bottom? And I was like, excuse me? What was that? And he was like, top or bottom? I was smoking my cigar and I inhaled like and I almost started to laugh like, oh man, now I understand what the fuck is going. This is the craziest thing that has ever happened to me. And then I was like, what? And he was like, top or bottom? Like this very feminine voice. And I was like, either. I like girls. And he was just smiling at me like this is the first time I have really felt what it feels like for girls probably, but girls obviously love it because that's biology. But for me it was super creepful because I felt the lustful energy of our man. Like he was lusting over me. He was checking me out, like looking at me up and down with this little smirk on his face. And I was like, thank you, I like girls. And then he was like, are you sure about that? Like he was questioning my sexuality. And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. And then he said, but you're so pretty. And he was looking at me up and down, you're so pretty. And I was like, thank you, I like women. And he was like, Espanol? Do you speak Espanol? And I was like, no. And I was kind of just looking at him like, what the fuck are you doing? You trying to heat me up here? And this lasted about like good 3 or 4, maybe 5 minutes. It kind of happened very slowly. or maybe time was just slowing down for me, because it was so kind of creepy. Like I could easily beat this guy, but it was still creepy. He was just checking me up and down, telling me I'm pretty boy, all that. And then at the end, he asked, "Do you get a big dick?" Again, very quietly. And then I was like, "What did you say?" And then he said, "Do you get a big dick?" And I almost lost at that point. I almost started to laugh, like uncomfortable, like straight at his face. And then I was like, well, that information is for the ladies. Like I said already 5 times, I like the women. Not so much the Nicaraguan women, even, but there's couple hotties at the Nicaragua too. But it's not my favorite phenotype. I could start explaining my preferences. I fucked that up real bad. Preferences. Why cannot I pronounce that word? Please, tropical sun, help me. Preferences. That's better. Of women. And then he was just like, "Excuse me," and started to slowly stroll away with his BMX. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? Granada, it's chaotic. It's fucking awesome. Like, this park is awesome. You can see Mombacha. We got this old cathedral over here. And these guys over there, they were just like talking at me right there. Like, "Where are you from?" And they were super friendly. That's like most of the interactions I've had with the people. They're just very curious about me and super friendly, like, hell yeah. But yeah, this interaction was making me feel little bit too much like a rock star. Like, I can understand these rock stars where everybody just automatically lusts at you without knowing a thing about you. But that's how love attraction really works. Attraction comes first, then all the other shit that's included in relationships. That's where the black pill is, right? But yeah. So even the man really lusted me. He was really trying to get it on with Mr. Bass Science over here, but it was not gonna happen. But the girls are also, yeah, the tropical sunlight is a little bit too much for my DJI, but not for me. I fucking love it. That's why I also feel like a rock star. That's the better way I feel like a rock star. I feel really fucking good here, even in the city with the 5G. But we're gonna get soon out of here, back to nature, back to Mother Earth. But like I was saying, it's really weird where people look at you like that and admire you like that. But yeah, that's human nature. Sorry for my gay lover for breaking your heart. That interaction reminded me of like when you have feelings for somebody and you are like really scared to tell them. That's kind of how it was for this guy, because he was coming so slowly and speaking so quietly. And then for the other person who does not have any feelings, he's like, what the fuck is going on? Just breaking the other person's heart. Like, he must feel terrible. So sorry for my gay Nicaraguan lover, but also it's a no for me, dog. But it's a yes for me, dog, for this weather. And Granada. Granada is pretty nice. It's a nice city. Anyway, see you later, alligators. I'm gonna go back to my science and being Rockstar over here and feeling like Rockstar better. See you later. Subscribe. Best experiment on YouTube. Mr. Bass Science out.